Professor Matt Diggs, and this is the fifth quarter. Welcome to Week 10 wrap-up around the Metroplex of Texas high school football. Can't believe we are 10 weeks down.
In fact, some teams are putting the basketball equipment out because they have the last week bye week, so it is getting serious.
It is.
I know, and I don't know how I feel about something. Everybody is probably watching the fifth quarter to start out with for the first couple of minutes because of what happened tonight in Plano. Or in Murphy, depending on how you want to look at it.
Can I say, do I need to apologize now?
You can go ahead and get
so
your empathy
sorry.
out. People want to know like how I'm gonna react because tonight at Kimbrough Stadium, Plano West ended their 34-game losing streak
It's
against
35.
It's 34
Oh.
against Plano East by scoring 3 touchdowns in the last 4 minutes of the game to defeat Plano East 36-35. Plano East was up 35-17 with 4 minutes left in the game, and they lost. At the same time, Plano lost to McKinney Boyd tonight 28-0. So now people are wondering, what is the state of Plano ISD football? And I'm looking in the camera to tell you, it is not good, friends. I don't know what religion, what persuasion you are, but say a prayer for me tonight because it's tough.
I'm sorry.
It's tough.
Well, on that note, let's go to some better games. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm just going to sit here and just do this for a second.
Matt. I feel so bad for you.
This is tough. It is tough being the de facto Plano ISD guy in this world. There has never been a team in the history of high school football that has had more bad things happen to them than Plano East. Just look it up. It's historically just on the wrong side of history. Each and every year, something happens, whether 599 yards and Matt Gaddick, or whether it's giving up 3 touchdowns in the final 4 minutes of the game, or getting 4 touchdowns in 3 minutes of a game and then still losing and winning an ESPY for losing. It's just not good.
Poor Matt.
It's tough. It's a kick in the stomach.
Poor Matt.
I have visceral sadness.
Visceral sadness.
Like my stomach it's turning right now.
Okay, enough about your sadness.
It's there.
Enough about your sadness. Let's go to some better games then.
Do you have a hard time processing sadness?
Yes, I do.
Okay. But it's not all sad everywhere in the Metroplex because there were a lot of good games and there were a lot of playoffs clinched. In fact, I was looking at my spreadsheet. It is crazy how many playoff spots we have decided because of some games tonight.
How many champions do we have decided, though?
Well, let's find out. Tell us.
Well, Highland Park wins a championship for district championship.
Technically, they can lose to Timberview next week and be a 3-way tie.
Well, I'm calling them.
It can happen.
I'm calling them the district champs as of right this moment. Highland Park beat Lancaster 42-35 tonight in overtime. It was tied 35-35 going into OT. Highland Park pulls it out, though, with the touchdown. They had 531 total yards. Chandler Morris, 288 yards, 16 completions, 2 touchdowns, 19 attempts, 19 carries for another 2 touchdowns and another 103 yards. So he's got 4 total touchdowns for the night. Big night for him. Hunter Heath had 10 carries for 131 yards and another 2 touchdowns. But I'm calling it a Highland Park win. The only way they don't win this district is if they lose to Timberview next week. And then that would end up... Who would end up?
3-way tie?
How do you do that 3-way tie
Play
thing?
rock, paper, scissors.
No.
Best 2 out of 3.
I'm calling crap.
They would have point differential. So now we have...
Well, then Highland Park is the de facto winner regardless.
They only won by 7.
Yeah,
it's
but
not that impressive.
But
Lancaster, beat Timberview by 23. So Lancaster would have a really good position in a 3-way tie to officially be the district champion. And I actually want to give this game a little bit of analysis because...
Hasn't Highland Park not lost a district game in like 15 years or something
They don't lose. Highland Park doesn't lose.
And don't they play at home?
I believe they do play at home.
They've never lost at home under Randy Allen.
It's certainly all signs point to the Scots winning the district title, but a lot of signs pointed to a lot of things tonight, and not everything worked out the way we thought it would work out, as we will discuss. But for me, I am just so impressed at Highland Park's offense, because what I thought was going to happen in this game was Lancaster's defense would set the tone, and in some ways they did. I mean, the fact that we're looking at this game and Lancaster got 4 turnovers in this game and still lost by a touchdown. I thought Lancaster's defense would come out and show out very much like the Lone Star against a Highland Park game, in a similar kind of a result. But Highland Park's offense is just at that second level. And it is so hard, because we all in the media love to pick against the big dogs. We love to pick against the Allens. Whenever Prosper was 5-0 and Allen was 5-0, we're all talking about this week. I remember you got excited about that. Like this week, Allen and Prosper. Now this game, I don't even know if it makes our list of things to talk about anymore. And
Prosper
this
only
game
scored 1 touchdown.
And this game was a game we thought Lancaster had a really good chance to win. And then Highland Park puts their big boy pants on. They come out and they, as you recited with the stats, just an incredible performance, running the ball, 200-yard rushers, just putting it down Lancaster's throat. And that offense is going to be the kind of thing that might lead them to overcome that deficit that they had against Lone Star in the playoffs, as that game looks like it could be an inevitability. Because to me, I thought it was going to be Lancaster's defense. I thought that was going to be the variable and the factor that changed this to be a Lancaster win. But Highlands Park's offense just, again, at an elite level, and they are trending up. And boy, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about a Highland Park Lone Star rematch, because that defense against an offense that is at playoff elite levels, it's going to be fun football.
It will be fun football. I mean, for me, Highland Park, they're always a good team. You like to see people give them a good game, though. I mean, I think they've outscored opponents 339 to 12 since that first, or in district. That's an obscene number.
It really is, and at the end of the day, it's just about tradition. And it's kind of Highland Park continues to win. Allen continues to win. Our Geyer Wildcats continue to win. Like the Longview Lobos, they continue to win.
You want to see some team, though, get in the mix.
I do.
Hashtag Lone Star.
Like, I prefer Plano East to be that team.
I'm sorry. Your team did not cut it. I apologize.
It's tough.
Not happening. But another big game that happened tonight that you were really excited about. He tried to make it our game of the week. It wasn't going to happen.
Would have been a great game of the week, right?
I mean, but we did have a great game of the week.
Well,
obviously.
We did.
Highland Park and Lancaster.
See, and you have to admit, Ward is going to begrudgingly send me an apology now, because his game that he wanted to go to was horrible. It was horrible. It was Hebron against Louisville. It was like Hebron blew him out. We gave him Coppell versus Flower Mound, 109 total points. We gave him Lancaster and Highland Park overtime.
I mean,
gotta listen to me sometimes. Just sometimes.
Don't get too high on your horse. But this was a big game for that district. I will let you talk more about that while I sit over here mortified about what you just did.
With your emoji.
Let me just sit over here.
Surprised emoji.
No, that is not surprised. This is mortified right here.
But my mortification.
I don't know you anymore.
Mortification is fantastic. But Coppell versus Flower Mound, for me, I thought I picked Coppell to win this game. And I said if the reason Coppell lost this game, it would be because of turnovers. And sadly, I ended up being right. Coppell threw an interception, 2 fumbles, and you got to hold on to the ball if you're going to make the playoffs. In every one of the big games, we talk about it week in and week out in District 6, 6A, when the Big Five play each other, those intangibles, and you can't go -2 against Flower Mound. And this game was a 2-score difference, and the 2 turnovers were the difference. Coppell, 400-yard night from Ryan Walker, 3 touchdowns and an interception. Even had a 100-yard rusher. Jason Nwu, 24 carries for 127 yards.
You want to say that name one more time?
Nwu?
One more time.
Nwu? How would you say that? Would you not say Nwu?
No, I just think it's funny how you pronounce it. I just think it's funny.
It's like a Ric Flair. Jason Nwu! I appreciate you, Jason, even in your loss. But again, how many times have we said the names in for Flower Mound, Blake Short, and Pierce Hutchins.
Quite a
We
bit.
say it every week because they are the stars of the show, and Blake Short is going to. I bet he's going to be on your battle for the bobblehead this week.
He might very well. You'll have to talk to the Wizard.
4 touchdowns, 453 yards, no interceptions, and that was ultimately the factor that allowed Flower Mound to clinch their playoff spot. And every playoff spot in 6-6A is filled. You got Marcus, Flower Mound, Louisville, and Hebron all going to the big dance.
Hey, it's a good week of football. Another big game that we had was Lakeview versus Rowlett. We thought it was going to be a big game. Rowlett's quarterback got hurt
I
very
hate when that
quickly
happens.
into the game, so the game
you
didn't
wanna
turn out
be-
as being as big of a game as we thought it was going to be.
You want to be at full strength when you're playing these big games, and
Well, Lakeview Centennial beats Rowlett 39-13. They had 444 total yards, and Kamar Wheaton had another night. On 21 carries, he had 241 yards, 4 touchdowns. The bobblehead winner, last week's bobblehead winner, I think, actually. Last
Hey,
week's bobblehead winner.
you would know.
Last week's bobblehead winner just has another big night. Like, that kid is unstoppable. I don't even want to talk about the game. I just want to talk about Kamar Wheaton.
And
He's unfreaking stoppable.
he is a fun talent to watch. Give some love to the defense for Lakeview, forcing 3 turnovers, and I know some of that had to do.
Talking about Kamar Wheaton, though.
I know, but the defense, makes Kamar Wheaton look better because then he can play ground control. You get him the ball. Can't feed him the ball if you don't have it in your possession.
Okay.
21 carries, 241 yards, and 4 touchdowns, like you said. But I know Coach Kendall Miller, he's going to be wanting to clean up some of those penalties, 17 penalties. You cannot win a playoff game against a 9-6A opponent with 17 penalties for 128 yards. Not going to happen.
I'm trying to just give love, and he's just spewing
Not going to
everything
happen.
else.
Lake Boo Centennial. That's their Twitter name right now. Lake Boo Centennial.
Hee, happy Halloween.
I love Lakeview Centennial. I mean, I follow several of their teachers and administrators on the Twitter. Do you follow people on the Twitter?
Not really.
You should.
I'm a terrible
And,
Twitter follower.
and
I'm sorry.
their teachers are so passionate. It's like you can see it. They put up pictures. They're following. I mean, you got journalism teachers putting graphics up for all their
Kamar
players,
things.
Kamars, everything. It's fun. Lakeview Centennial, they got good people over there. If I was starting a high school, I would, in our fantasy draft, I would draft Lakeview Centennial teachers. So
We really do need to do this. Oh, how about we do it going into playoffs?
maybe so.
Like week 1 of playoffs. Let's draft a team.
There's not going to be as much to talk about next week because I think we're going to have a lot of things settled already.
I'm down.
this
Let's
week.
do it.
I know you're disappointed about what's going to happen in the second segment.
We'll discuss. I'm putting you on a time limit.
I know. I got a big clock up there. It's already counting
He's
down.
on a time limit, and he's not going a second over the time limit.
But I know Ward wanted me to tell the world, what does this game mean?
What does this game mean?
Well, it means that Naaman Forest against Lakeview Centennial next week will effectively determine the last playoff spot. If Rowlett wins over Saxe, which is not likely, then they are in. But if they lose, then we're going to have a 3-way tie with Rowlett, Naaman Forest, and Lakeview if Naaman does beat Lakeview. And if that happens, then you're likely to see Naaman and Lakeview in that tie, depending on losses. I think it's more likely that Lakeview is going to beat Naaman, and then we're going to have a clean district. We're going to have Saxe, Wiley, Lakeview Centennial, and Naaman Forest. But Naaman Forest does control their own destiny. They play Kamar Wheaton's team next week, and we will find out what happens. It'll be a fun game to watch.
So, Professor,
Yep.
what's the next game that you would like to talk about?
Well, I know you love talking about your big scores, but crazy game that just 4 hours long. Richland against Weatherford. I mean, just talk about battle
It's out
of the
my neck of the
bobbleheads.
woods.
Battle of the bobblehead candidates in this game. I mean, Weatherford missed a field goal to lose this game 65-62. Just a game, again, 4 hours long, and just eye-popping stats. Defensive coordinators are going to have some heartburn, going to need a little of the old Pravastatin or whatever, the Tagament, little heartburn medicine, some Tums, if you will. I was trying to
Rolaids?
omeprazole or something. You know, you need the advanced stuff for this kind of a score, not not just the over-the-counter stuff. You need
Some
the good stuff.
Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah. I mean, talk about another battle of the bobblehead guy, Cole Benson, 7 touchdowns, 441 yards. Just ridiculous numbers. Kenny Seals, 457 yards and 4 touchdowns. And really, I think a big difference in this game was that Richland was able to stop the prolific rushing game for Weatherford. Held Des Forrest to 11 carries, 60 yards, because this game Richland got up early and they made Weatherford play from catch up and just had to throw it all the time. They were almost able to come back. They came back and they were actually leading with a couple minutes left, but Richland, the running Rebels, have punched their ticket to the playoffs.
And that that's one of those you're surprised.
Yeah.
You're really surprised about
what
this.
would a surprised emoji look like, Ashley? Can you show us? That is the look of what is happening in Richland right now. Now, don't tell their coaches that.
No, definitely not.
This
is an outside of Richland surprise. Everyone outside of Richland surprise.
Birdville ISD gives a surprise every year. Last year was Haltom. This year it was Richland.
Crazy.
I mean, and now we're basically coming down to Haltom versus St. Angelo Central next week. If St. Angelo Central wins, then Weatherford is in by default. If Haltom is able to beat St. Angelo Central, we have a 3-way tie. Haltom would have beaten St. Angelo Central in that case. Weatherford beat Haltom. Haltom and St. Angelo Central would beat Weatherford. 3-way tie comes down to point differential. Haltom beat. We don't know how Haltom would win because that game will be next week. Weatherford beat Haltom by 14 and lost to St. Angelo Central by 7. So we know they're already in a good position to perhaps win that tiebreaker. But one of the things we always talk about that's frustrating is every district does different tiebreakers. So it's hard to know if they take 1, 2,
points.
Who knows. But we do know that 2 of those 3 teams are likely to make it. There's a very outside scenario that Weatherford loses to LD Bell and that St. Angelo Central beats Haltom. If that's the case, we would have 4-way tie for 4th place at 2 and 4. Crazy stuff.
Sorry guys, I don't think 2 and 4 deserves.
That's what some people.
Playoffs.
That's what some people say, but we still got to do the math. And
I think that we should get rid of that 4th spot then. If you're 2 and 4, no offense, guys. If you're 2 and 4, you don't deserve to play in district.
Look at those hot sports opinions from.
Hey, on Houston, I said that I think there's too many playoff positions, and there should be one overall winner.
You sound like your dad. Like, get off my yawn.
Yeah.
Back in my day, we had one team make the playoffs.
I think there should be one team.
Winning district meant something.
In each division, like 5A, 6A, like 5A and 6A, and I guess we could have 7A at that point in time. There should only be one state championship for each.
So you don't like the division stuff?
I don't like any of it.
How many teams are you allowed to make the playoffs?
I think it should be 2 from each district.
2 from each district, so back to the 80s.
Or 3 from each district.
Back to the 90s.
That's fine. 3.
So
we'll keep it at 3 because then you've got some districts that have some teams that.
You realize the math doesn't work on that.
I don't
care. 3 teams. Odd teams can't have odd.
I don't care.
Okay.
First, the best teams.
Are you going to give somebody a bye?
Best teams get a bye.
Okay.
Best teams get a bye. And that there should be one final state championship. This whole Alito Highland Park not both being state champions is not okay in my book. Sorry guys, that's just hot sports topic.
Well, let's because much to her chagrin, we're not going to talk about big schools in our second segment. Yes.
So you get one more game for this first segment.
Well, I don't get one more game. I'm just going to very quickly talk just the big picture because everybody wants to know the big picture.
We can go big picture.
Some other show could read you scores.
Pretty much am not going to be in here.
It'll just be me.
I'm just going to sit over.
You want
to
talk
the
about
side.
Grandview and Whitney?
I'm just going to be sitting over there.
Going to be over there.
I'll just leave you the whole.
Do you know you made people mad?
Oh, I did.
On some message board because you called Longview the zebras.
I didn't mean to call them the zebras. I said, aren't they the zebras?
You asked the question. They're mad.
I did. Well,
but we're going to talk about the real zebras tonight.
I forgot which
Grandview.
one was the zebras.
They lost to Whitney.
Guys, I'm sorry.
The Whitney Wildcats. Do you know where Whitney is, by the way?
No, I don't.
See, that's why we got to talk about small schools.
I'm sorry, guys. Some of your mascots, yes.
Okay.
Some of your mascots I don't remember. At least I remember you as schools. Because I know some people who don't even remember schools.
Okay, quick trivia question. Itasca, do you know their mascot? Itasca?
No, but I do know Itascasita.
What is Itascasita? What are they?
Itascasita is the Eagles.
Okay. Well, these are some of the fun ones. Itasca is the Wampus Cats. What about Frost? Do you know what Frost is?
I don't even know where Frost is.
It's local. Small school Dixies come out. They're the polar bears.
Oh, God.
Could you imagine a matchup between polar bears and Wampus cats?
What's a Wampus cat?
I don't know. Look it up. What's a bear cat?
I do know what a bear cat
I
is.
don't know.
It's an Alito bear cat.
Got that. But quickly, because I'm already on the shot
Sorry, people
clock.
in Longview. I didn't mean to piss you off.
Yeah, it's okay. They're easily angered in Longview. I just say anything
they're
bad
out there in the
about
middle
Longview.
of nowhere.
I love Longview. I've embraced Longview. I consider them part of the Metroplex. In fact, I'm gonna go to like Santa Land. If you've never been to Santa Land, you should go sometime. It's on I-20 out there in East Texas.
I passed by Santa Land.
It's fun. It's kind of Longview-ish, not really.
So there's another Santa something that's down on your way down to Houston. Since I was driving down there so much, it's like Santa's World or something like that.
Santa World.
Something, I don't know. I
Go
need to
see all these fun things because it's almost Christmas season. It's playoff season.
Oh, did you
and
see?
teams
did
that
you
have
see that Mariah Carey, as soon as Halloween was over,
gets excited.
She's like, "Oh, it's time."
It's time for the money. But the money cashers in District 4 6A, we got playoff teams, Martin Bowie, Lamar Arlington, all in. 5 6A, Carroll, Geyer, Keller Central, and Keller, all in. You like Keller Central?
I don't think they're too shabby.
I like them. Good defense. 6 6A, Marcus, Louisville, Hebron, Flower Mound, all in. 7 6A, Cedar Hill, DeSoto, Mansfield, Summit, South Grand Prairie, all of them are in. 8 6A, Duncanville and Skyline are in. Lake Highlands, Richardson, and Pierce have a weird thing that could happen. Richardson could beat Pierce. Richardson could beat Lake Highlands next week, create a three-way tie. Not happening. Mathematically possible. And 9 6A, Allen is in. Prosper is in. Jesuit could be in. And then Plano, McKinney, Boyd all playing for playoff spots. We talked about Saxe and Wiley in. And then Rowlett could be in if things happen. But the big game in 11 6A will be Naaman Forest and Lakeview Centennial next week. And then Longview is definitely in. Longview.
Good job, Lobos.
You like the Lobos? I'm a big fan.
Good job,
of the Lobos.
Lobos.
Rockwall is in, and Mesquite is in, and then it's just going to come down to the fourth playoff spot with Tyler Lee and Mesquite Horn next week. A game that I will suggest award as a game of the week. So pretty much 6A.
He's trying to kill me.
6A playoffs are.
He doesn't. What he doesn't know is I create all that stuff.
She does create.
So
all
please don't make my life harder than it already is.
It's my job, apparently. This Ward has commissioned me to
make my life
make
difficult?
your life hard.
Awesome.
Point out when message boards hate you.
Well, enough people hate me as it is. I don't need any more
Do
people hating me.
you love if people like badmouth you on the internet? Because I kind of like it. It happens a lot.
I have a mixed relationship with it because the things they say about you aren't as mean as the things that they say about me.
Oh, they say some pretty mean things about me. Twitter is going crazy over the Plano East loss. Like all the schadenfreude of people's psychological issues when Plano East loses, they're like, well, at least we're not that Diggs dude who's got to deal with that stuff. You even did it to start this show.
I did it just because you were just to rub it in on you.
See, this is the world we live in. On the fifth quarter.
Off camera, we'll discuss what people say to me.
Okay.
Because it is not appropriate.
Not appropriate to be talked about.
No.
But does it hurt your feelings?
Sometimes there's I've had some like mean
cyberbullying
things said to
trolls.
Me. Yeah, I've had some mean trolls.
That. Be nice. You know, if we screw up a pick, fair game. I'm good with that.
But don't insult our families or us. Personally.
I have long hair.
Don't attack character. Nice. It's not nice.
I have good character. I have bad posture, but good character.
I love how I'm taller than you right now on camera. This is kind of funny.
But when we come back, the debut of small school Diggsy. We're not going to talk about anything in 6A. We're not going to talk about anything in 5A. We're going to talk about schools like Pilot Point and Whitney and Grandview.
And Salina.
And Alvarado.
And Brock.
All of that stuff.
Oh, see, I named a couple.
You did.
I don't like Alvarado. I've got a story about Alvarado.
Are we going to tell it?
I will tell you all the story about Alvarado.
When we come back, Ashley and Alvarado, the A&A connection.
We'll be right back with the fifth quarter.
Don't forget to catch our extended coverage of the high school football season each week on The Warm-Up, presented by your local North Texas Geico agents. We will get you ready for all the action this Thursday on all our social media outlets. Watch Inside High School Sports to catch this week's MVP, brought to you by GiveMeTheVin.com. These MVP athletes make it look easy, just like GiveMeTheVin.com makes it easy to sell your car.
And we are back with the fifth quarter. And hold on, let me grab my cellular device for you all.
What is the cellular device?
We will put you at 25 minutes.
She also met her step goal, by the way. I saw that before she got
25 minutes.
She got the timer up. Small school Digsy will not take 25 minutes, but the social media queen in you could like tag all these small schools, and they're gonna love it because they don't get talked about. I don't have time to tag everyone. Come on, how often is Whitesboro gonna get tagged?
Not very often.
Not very often.
But as soon as I finish my Alvarado story, then small schools Dixie can start.
Well, we have to save that because I might need you to.
Okay, fine. Fine then. Small schools Digsy, you start in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the
minutes.
fifth quarter. My name is Matt Diggs. They call me Professor Diggs on the Twitter at Professor Diggs.
I'm not here.
That's Ashlea Bullington. She's not here.
I'm not
but
here.
She is number one in your hearts.
Always.
And when there are so many fantastic football games to talk about, we always talk about the Allens of the world. We always talk about the Longviews of the world. But how about a big upset this week with the Grandview Zebras losing to the Whitney Wildcats 27-21. That game was 21-7 going to the fourth quarter, and then Whitney scored 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Grandview was ranked number 1 in the state. No longer number 1 in the state. The Whitney Wildcats have introduced themselves to the world. Very proud of Whitney. Whitney is a team that is, I think they're undefeated, as a matter of fact. Just a fantastic win. Talk about a coming-of-age win for the Whitney Wildcats. Have you ever been to Lake Whitney?
I have not been to Lake Whitney.
Beautiful place. Beautiful area. Beautiful people down there.
I like lake. I've heard. I like lakes because I live on a lake in Granbury, Texas.
Beautiful lake there
Texas.
too. Hood County. All right.
We have fun in Hood County.
Yeah. District 4A is one of my favorite districts of the year. You have 4 really good, fantastic football teams. Decatur, Springtown. Springtown is like close to Azle, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I was actually there on Monday for a state final soccer game.
And how cool is it about the Porcupines?
I don't want to talk about them. I did not like them in high school.
Cool. Rivalry games?
Yes. Big
Jacksboro Highway?
Jacksboro Highway.
Yeah. Gainesville, Wichita Falls, Hershey, and there was a big game this week with Wichita Falls, Hershey, and Springtown.
Pojo was the big thing back then.
Pojo.
What
does Pojo mean? Is that like Mojo?
No, that's their porcupine's name.
Pojo the porcupine?
Mm-hmm. There's Pojo.
I did not know that. I thought it was like Amo, which had like, some deep meaning to it.
Just the porcupine's name.
Just the porcupine's name. But Springtown with a big win over Wichita Falls, Hershey this past week.
Wait, are they in 4A now?
Yeah.
What?
I know.
When did this happen?
Realignment.
They were in 5A when I was in high school. Wait. We were in 4A. Azle moved up.
Azle did big.
Yeah, so we were all in 4A together back then. Back in the day. I said I wasn't going to talk. Sorry, Diggs.
But see, there's a little spirit of you who loves small schools. It's like you have all this insight. You just didn't realize how awesome it is.
Pojo the porcupine. That's all I got for you today.
Big game in District 5 4A with La Vega and Brownwood, and Waco La Vega with a big win over Brownwood, previously undefeated Brownwood. Let me get you the final of that score, 31-14. Big win again. Waco La Vega, that was a de facto district championship game, also important for seeding, and we're going to have some really fun games coming up when the playoffs get started in 4A Division 1. It is just absolutely loaded. District 6, nothing of note in there. Kennedale is still your big dog. District 7, big win. Argyle over Anna just takes care of business. Salina had the week off. We had Melissa just completely destroy Sanger, like 61-10. Paris North Lamar. I'm pretty sure Paris beat North Lamar, but we will double check for you. But again, those 4 teams in that district are fantastic. They're going to just have great playoff games, and they're going to start out with District 8 4A. And to me, Alvarado is your district champion in this district, and I believe you have a story about Alvarado.
I do have a story about Alvarado, my friends. Yes, I'm still awake. So when I was 16, I had just turned 16 years old.
Sweet 16.
We
Passed your driver's test?
passed my driver's test, got my
Parallel
driver's
parked?
license. It was my first trip without my parents somewhere because my grandparents lived in South Padre. So me and a friend decided we were going to drive down to South Padre together and you go for like a weekend. My grandparents lived there. It was fine. Like my parents knew where it was. So it wasn't going to be that big of a deal. So on our way back from Alvarado, or from South Padre, we are driving through Alvarado, and I am driving at that point in time, which I'm not the best driver. I apologize now for anybody who's ever driven with me on the road. And I used to drive a big H3 with pink license plates on it that said 00 Boo. So everyone said, oh, Boo, growing up. Like that was kind of like the nickname that I was given because of that. Well, I'm driving, I'm going 60, I'm in the left-hand lane, driving down the road, and this
Are you
cop...
on I-35 West?
I guess, I don't remember. But this cop comes up next to me, and I'm like, oh crap, I can't be going faster than the cop. So I'm driving, and the cop, like, my friend goes, speed up. So I speed up, I pass the cop pulls me over, and we just happen to still be in the left-hand side. And so I pulled to the left-hand side because that's the side that had space. Like, there was no space on the other one. And in DFW, you can pull over on both sides. Like, cops usually will pull you over to the easiest side. So I get over there. Cop goes, you're supposed to pull over to the right side, not the left. I got 4 tickets that day from that cop. 16-year-old getting these tickets. He makes me go to the left-hand side. I almost get run over by a truck. Yeah. And so he writes me a ticket for endangerment. So I get a ticket for endangerment going under the speed limit. I wasn't even going the speed limit. Driving the left-hand lane without passing, and failure to pull over for an emergency vehicle. Yeah, that was great.
Small school Digsy, just
Alvarado, you and I.
the Indians.
This is why we're not friends.
And Alvarado did basically get their district championship over Wilmer Hutchins this week, 35-14. If we cared about small schools in the bobblehead world, we'd probably have Colby Sampson as somebody to talk about from Alvarado. 42 carries, 243
Don't talk to me
yards,
about that.
3 touchdowns. Colby Sampson, you, sir, are the small school Digsy player of the week. I can't get you anything for it. There's really
Sorry, dude.
Can't do that. But if you want to take a clip of this, I will point to the camera. Colby Sampson, you are the Professor Diggs, small school Digsy
Good job.
player of the week. I like that. So yeah,
Dixie just wants to feel important, guys.
I do feel important because I didn't get fired after basically running your producer down on TV last week.
You got 17 minutes, Dixie.
No, that's cool. I want to give a little bit of a shout out. I want to spend this time. I should get the time back from your story, but
Nope.
I'm not going to. I know we have bigger.
You asked me to tell it.
We do. I want to talk about a friend of mine, Coach Kevin Grubbs from Dallas Life Oak Cliff. They lost last night 55-18. They played a Thursday night game. But this is a team. It's kind of like a good Thomas Jefferson story or a Fort Worth Northside story. Life Oak Cliff had not won a lot of football games since their existence. Kevin Grubbs came from Molina. Molina didn't win a lot of football games, but you take the magic of Coach Grubbs and his coaching, you put in a good, talented group of kids at Life Oak Cliff, and all of a sudden you have potentially a playoff team. In fact, they are a playoff team. They lost this week, so they go down to 7-2. But basically, to go from a team that has a hard time winning to a third-place team, they might even have a chance to win in the playoffs against a team like Van Alstyne. In fact, I will probably pick Life Oak Cliff over Van Alstyne. Now, if they play Emory Reigns, we'll kind of see how that ends up turning out. But good. I'm happy for Dallas Life Oak Cliff. And that has Dallas in it, so.
So you know what song came to mind as soon as you started that?
What?
That's
sing it for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna pop some tags. I got $20 in my pocket. You remember that song?
Yeah, that was Macklemore.
We can't say the rest of that song.
In fact, I'll tell my own little story.
Ooh.
The way that song would come on my kids didn't cuss for the first 8 years of their life. They had no cuss words. But the way it would cuss is it would say, "This is King Awesome." So that my kids thought it was King Awesome, like it's
This
a character.
is King Awesome.
Because they would have that
Perfect.
So King Awesome and Macklemore,
This is King Awesome. I can say that part.
Yes.
So I actually didn't learn a cuss word until I was in high school.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I refused to say cuss words. I didn't even know what cuss words meant. One time I was sitting in the lunchroom and I pointed at a kid with my middle finger on. I still use my ring finger, but my middle finger. And I was just pointing at him. I'm using my ring finger, guys. And I was just pointing at him and he kept being like, "She's pointing at me with her middle finger." And I had no idea what that meant. Yeah, that was little cute Ashley back in the day. More insight into me.
Sad news out of small school Digsy. It's sad to report that my wife, Celeste Blue Devils, do you know where Celeste is?
No, where's Celeste?
It's north of Greenville.
Oh, okay.
It's on US 69. They lost to Collinsville tonight, 33-0. It's bad. But they have one district win in a 5-team district, and I know this really got your crawl earlier in the first segment. One win will get you in the playoffs. In a 5-team district. They're 2-8. They're going to the playoffs.
What is this?
Go Blue Devils.
Okay, guys. Do you deserve to be in the playoffs?
I'm just here to report the news. 2-8. Playoff team.
I'm just going to sit over here in my corner.
Let's talk about some more small schools. And to me, and I don't want to be negative, because this gets into Parker County, and I know Parker County
that's what he's got me for.
Your hood. But Brock is, I just expect more from Brock.
Hood.
I know, but Brock is just a team that, they're close to Aledo, close to Weatherford, kind of close to Hazel. They did win tonight over Boyd, 13-6, but Brock has just been right there. They lost to Pilot Point earlier. They've had some non-district losses. This is not the Brock that we have come to know and expect. It's like if Allen goes 7-3 or Aledo goes 7-3. It's just, we're used to 10-0 every year. What's going on in Brock?
I'm not sure. I know Brock. So when I was in high school, Brock was 7-7 still.
So they just played flag football.
They didn't, or 6-man or whatever it is. It was 7-7, 6-on-6, but it was a basketball school only when I was in high school.
Do you know where Peedster is? Isn't that
I do know where Peedster is.
Basketball school out there too?
Yes, Peedster and Brock were the big basketball schools.
And another basketball school that recently has come to the football side, they had a chance to get their first win tonight, but the Vernon Lions defeated Crum 28-21.
Where's Crum?
Crum is between Argyle and Denton-ish. So a good quality Metroplex school right there. Big game for playoffs and seeding and whatnot. The Graham Steers defeated Aubrey this week, 38-21. Some stats from that game of note. Big, important game because both teams were right in line for the second spot. And Graham has really struggled this year. Graham started out well, had very high expectations. Didn't really. Then Iowa Park became kind of the big deal in that district. And then Bridgeport's kind of come on. Aubrey's kind of come on. So this was a game that would really give us some information. I think these are going to be your 4 playoff teams. Vernon and Crum were kind of for your last place. Vernon's 0-7. Crum was 0-8. And we already talked about Vernon got the big win. Iowa Park had its success against Bridgeport, but Graham and Aubrey, an important win. Graham's only 4-4, and this is the team that was state ranked at for some earlier in the year and has kind of fallen off. But how about Hunter Landman? Can we talk about Hunter Landman?
Where is Hunter Landman?
Hunter Landman, he's the quarterback for the Graham Steers.
Oh, hey.
15-27, 201. Did you say Hokahay? Is that
I said, that's
Manville
Manville, though.
Yeah?
I said, oh, hey.
Okay.
And then I was going to say, welcome to the party, but he cut me off.
2 touchdowns, just 5 turnovers for Aubrey. I thought Aubrey had a chance, but you go -4 in turnovers, things aren't going to go out well. Big win for the Graham Steers. Just so much fun. I think it's going to be one of the fun districts that's going to be in the playoffs. District 5 3A against District 6 3A, where you got Sunnyvale, Caddo Mills, Nevada Community, and Farmersville or Dallas Roosevelt, depending on how
Pretty
that
sure we
turns
covered
out.
Sunnyvale at some point.
Yeah,
this year.
Sunnyvale is a big one. They play District 6. Four really good teams: Pleasant Grove, Gilmer, Spring Hill, and Pittsburgh. Gilmer and Pleasant Grove are the top of that district, and Pleasant Grove is state ranked and just all kinds of good stuff when we talk about Pleasant Grove. Their only loss this year was against Carthage.
Next time we do this, I'm going to put it in
Small
back
school
here.
Digsy.
Now I'm going to put a timer back there.
Why do you hate with the time? I'm almost done talking about small school.
What? You still have 10 minutes.
You're going to get done early, but
We've got 10 more
we
minutes.
just got to talk about some of these schools. It's just important to me. I mean, we got to talk about Pilot Point. Pilot Point is going to be your District 4 3A district champion. Pilot Point Bearcats.
That's all I got for you.
And big in District 5, you got Pottsboro is kind of the big team over there. They're 9-0. The Pottsboro Cardinals are looking to have another playoff run. We already talked about Malakoff and Dallas Life Oak Cliff and Madison. Madison is really being impressive. James Madison out of Dallas. You get a good back pop there?
Yeah, there we go.
A little
I was getting a
dream
little
right there.
I was getting a little uncomfortable over here.
Malakoff is the district champion in that district, 6-3A, and things are looking good there. Other things of note, what about Jacksboro?
Ooh, I know where Jacksboro is.
Tell us about Jacksboro.
I don't know about
Any
Jacksboro,
stories
though.
about Jacksboro?
I just know Jacksboro Highway.
That does go to the Jacksboro. I believe. Just want to double check and make sure Jacksboro won tonight. We had them on our radar as well as 28-24. Millsap. You know where Millsap is.
I do know where Millsap is.
Millsap has been playing out of their mind the last couple of weeks.
So Millsap and Red Oak are all kind of close to each other. I do know that.
Red Oak?
And no. It's Millsap and they used to play Red Oak, actually, in district. So I remember I went to a football game one time.
Tolar's near you too, right?
Yes, Tolar. So is
I
Chris.
call it Tolar. You
so
call
is
it Tolar?
It's Tolar.
They're the Rattlers.
So is Godley
Huh?
and Crescent and Glenrose.
Glenrose has had a very bad start to the season.
Very
but
bad.
Have roared it back in district play.
That's about it.
About it.
That's all I can think of off the top of my head.
Jacksboro with a big 28-24 win over Millsap this
Stephenville?
week. And let's see if we can get that Dublin Comanche score to end small school.
What about
Dixie.
Stephenville?
I think Stephenville was off this week. But that's really
Is that a small school?
it's 4A.
Yes.
So we can talk about that.
I'm trying.
Skill Dublin. Let's see if we can get that Dublin score for you as I stall to get you this very important information.
He's trying so hard to reach his 25 minutes.
We'll cut it short.
806.
Dublin with a 20-16 win over Comanche. So that district is
I know where Dublin is.
Dublin and Comanche, and then in Jacksboro.
Do you know what's in Dublin?
The Dr. Pepper factory.
Ding!
I do know that.
Right answer.
So Small School Digsy is excited to come out, and again, District 4A is just going to be so fun when we get to the playoffs. I mean, you've got, just listen to this lineup when we talk about 4A. You got Brownwood, La Vega, Stephenville, China Spring, Kennedale, Argyle, Salina, Melissa, Paris, Alvarado. Those are going to be teams
Those
that are
are
going
those
to be
schools that we
battling,
played in, that we played against when I was in high school.
4A Division 1.
I guess I used to play a lot of those schools when it was just
Back when it was
just
Azle.
a 5A.
So
I miss
very
those
excited
days.
for Small School Digsy to be able to come out and just talk about some of these
Wait,
teams.
Digsy, we got to talk
Yes.
about one more thing.
One more
because
thing.
we didn't do it in the first segment.
Man, you promised me only small schools.
But we didn't
Okay.
cover the 5A, what the rundown looks like for 5A.
You really want this 10 minutes?
No, I just want to know
You want to know? What do you want to know?
just what the districts look like. Since we're covered 6A and 4A, I don't want people in 5A being mad at us.
I don't like 5A anymore.
Okay, fine then, we're done.
No, okay, we'll talk about 5A.
We're just running down the district.
Azle had a big win over Saginaw.
You had to start with that?
tonight. Yeah,
Great.
huge win.
Okay.
But I believe that it's going to come down to Azle, Crowley, Saginaw, and Granbury making the playoffs.
Granbury, the
Mighty
Pirates.
Is everybody buzzing in Granbury about that?
I don't know.
It should be.
I
mean,
don't really
big.
pay attention out
If
there.
anybody, I made this challenge on the Twitter. If anybody picked Granbury and Saginaw to both make the playoffs in 3-5A, I want to see a time shot screenshot of your prediction because I don't think anybody would have predicted that. Nobody did.
Oh, you didn't offer any
Azle
money?
and Crowley, $5. I'll give you a $5 gift card to McDonald's if you did that. So
You had
your
to pick
chance
that.
to win
You had to pick
$5
that place over every place. Okay.
of McDonald's. You'll be McLoving it if you made those picks.
Okay. What else we see?
Big win for Birdville over Colleyville Heritage tonight. So you got Denton Ryan and Birdville for the district championship next week. But your 4 teams are pretty much set there. There's still a chance with Grapevine and Denton that Grapevine could lose, Denton could win, to flip-flop those 4 teams. But I think you're pretty much set there. Big win for Frisco Independence over the Colony tonight.
I did see that.
Yeah, overtime, double
I was
overtime.
quite shocked to see that.
I was shocked to see it as well. I saw a couple of people, Heckma Harrison, who is on the Twitter, who just guaranteed Frisco Independence was going to win that game. And Heckma Harrison, you were accurate, sir. You may not have predicted to go to overtime, but double overtime. But big win there. We already talked about Highland Park and Lancaster. Your playoff teams are set there with Timberview and Mansfield Legacy. Big win for Boutique tonight. They bounced back with a win over John Tyler this week. And with Sherman beating West Mesquite, it pretty much kind of puts West Mesquite and Texas High next week as a final playoff spot to perhaps force a 3-way tie with Sherman. The way that point differentials and all that, but I'm pretty sure Texas High is going to be good there. So there's a little bit of 5A talk for you.
Awesome.
Tomorrow, one of the games that you're going to have to talk to the Wizard about coming up will be Fort Worth Northside against Fort Worth Poly. Could you imagine being a fan of a program that hasn't made the playoffs for 40 years?
I went to Azle. When I was in high school,
Azle's
we
gonna
never
win
made the
district title.
playoffs. When I went to Azle, we didn't make the playoffs. We didn't even win games when I flew into Azle.
I will be excited to see the Wizards' coverage of that game because the catharsis of Fort Worth Northside and not making the playoffs for 40 years and have a chance to make the playoffs with the Wizard live with the camera.
Ooh.
And you can see that game highlights when?
On NBC5 tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. on Wingstop Inside High School
They
Sports,
love
hosted by Pat Downey.
I haven't had a chance to talk about Pat Downey tonight.
Well, I say we wrap it up, though.
You don't want to talk about Pat Downey?
No, not really.
That's okay.
Pat, we love you, though.
We do love you, Pat, and I'm excited, Pat, to hear your call of that Northside Poly game. I'm taking Poly, though. I'm sticking with it.
Well, with that, Week 10 is over. Guys, we've only have 1 week of district play left.
I'll admit I'm disappointed in my performance at Small School Digsy today.
What?
I could have done better. I'm sorry.
Diggs.
I'm sorry to the message boards who expected great insight and just trying to find scores last minute. I failed. I'm sorry. But I love you, Small
He
Schools.
will do better in playoffs, guys.
I will do
He
better.
will do better in playoffs.
I admit I sucked on that. Small School Digsy did not do well.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Anyways,
Sorry you had to
poor
listen to all
Dixie, I'm
that.
sorry. He is Matt Diggs. I'm Ashlea Bullington. You're watching the 5th quarter. We'll be right back with the producer of Wingstop Inside High School Sports, Ward, right after this.
The Inside Story is driven by your North Texas Honda dealers. Right now, they can help you get great deals on award-winning Hondas. It's their job to be helpful, so stop by your local helpful Honda dealer today.
And for our last and final segment, Ward, the Wizard.
What's going on? Is this our last segment?
This is our last segment. Ward, what do you want to talk about?
There's only one person I ever want to talk about when I go cover them, and that's Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Jackson
That's just the way it
Smith
goes.
Jigba.
Listen, this is his last regular season game. I don't think you people realize how much we're going to miss seeing him play just because of the stuff he does. Let's take a look at some of his plays tonight. This is a short screen that he just shows off his speed, turns it into a 55-yard touchdown. He went 9 catches for over 324 yards, 4 touchdowns. These are like regular numbers. Watch how he goes up for this one. I slowed it down for you. Look how high he goes for it. Gets the catch. Gives you a little mean mug in here at the end. Everybody likes a little mean mug. And then this final one is, oops, we went too far. The final one is he just outruns the coverage. And he does this all night. He does this all day. He's going to be great at Ohio State.
We love us some Jackson Smith around here.
They are done. Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here. They're going to end up playing Allen in the second round. And unfortunately, they're going to lose to Allen again because they still don't play defense. And
We've got big things that we say around here, okay?
Yes. I don't like saying it because this is a fun team for me to cover. By the way, did you go back to the screen there? Did you see these sweet uniforms they got?
Wait,
They
hold
got the
on.
little angry orange. I love their uniforms. I kind of wish that was on the bobblehead for them. I love the all black with the orange sleeves. That's just me being
Angry orange.
my fashionista self.
I thought that was me.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
supposed to be the fashionista,
I
guys.
stole it for this one.
And I'm in a sweatshirt right now.
But he's terrific. They're going to be terrific in the playoffs. They have a bye week next week, so they get to sit back and watch everybody else play.
Get to
This-
cross their fingers that they can go into a different to a different district.
I'm not sure what you and Diggs were talking about, but Richland had a big win today.
did have a
We
big
are going to
win.
have those highlights. Highland Park had a crazy one. I know you guys talked about that one.
Heck yeah, we did.
Nice little overtime throw. They're probably going to win district on that one. And Flower Mountain clinched himself a spot by beating Capel.
Diggs told me not to say that they're gonna win district. I said Highland Park's the de facto district winner as of
He
this
thinks
point
they're
in
going to
time.
lose to Timberview.
He said that we can't say that yet.
He says a lot
I
of
should've
things.
put my
Why?
glasses on to
You're
say
just
that.
not allowed to say things. He says crazy things.
I supposedly,
Say it.
I
want you to
suppose
go in there and say what you
Highland
want to say.
Park winners of that district,
Yeah, she's
and
allowed to say whatever she
and I
wants.
guess I pissed off a lot of people in Longview too, asking if they were the zebras. That's Grandview. I'm sorry,
Do you realize
guys.
we do this show at 2 a.m?
Guys, I'm a
She
little
says
bit
zebra.
weary. At
Bucky's. She can say
Oh.
whatever she wants.
I almost put Bucky's on the show tonight, saying
Did
that they
you?
might come in and get
you-
sponsor
And
us.
you just did just now.
Bucky's.
The rest
We
of the
could use
show,
you.
well, here's what we're going to have. We're going to have a flashback to a sweet Highland Park, Stephenville game back in 2005. One of the most exciting games we covered. It was a regional, it was a state semifinal.
State semifinals because then Highland Park went
One
to
of
go
them.
win
Yes, with
the
Matthew
state
Stafford.
finals with Matt
So we'll
Stafford.
have that flashback. We will also have a nice story about how the Weatherford team that just lost, maybe it had something to do with the fact last night
Sorry,
they were out giving
guys.
pumpkins to kids, and we have a nice story on that. I don't think it had anything to do with it.
Definitely
Just-
didn't
we only
because
had the
doing
offensive
doing
players
things for
that-
people's nice.
Exactly. We only had offensive players giving out pumpkins, and they did their job. 62 points for crying out loud. And finally, we're going to give out a bobblehead to a Paris Episcopal quarterback. You need to
Is this
keep
the
your
first
eye on
time that we've ever given one to a parish
Yes,
Episcopal?
it is. Junior quarterback. SMU's looking at him hard. We'll see which way he goes. It's going to be a great show. There's going to be a lot of great highlights. So, I don't know if you guys talked about the Colony against Frisco
Oh,
Independence, but that was
we-
a double overtime thriller. And
We kind of touched on it, but you need to watch the show tomorrow
You need
because
to
it
watch.
will be on the
There will
show.
be highlights.
Heck yeah, there will be.
We're going to have a good time.
Yes, we will.
That's a wrap.
Don't forget to watch the show tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. NBC5, Wingstop, Inside High School Sports. Be there or be square. Good night. Bye-bye.